Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight, the official YouTube channel of serialatmidnight.com. My name is Heath, and I'm glad you're here because in this video we're going to talk about the entire six movie wave of Mill Creek's retro VHS slipcover editions. I talked about them in a previous Mill Creek video because I had half of them. I had found these at Walmart. Happy Birthday to Me, Silent Rage with Mr. Norris, and Who's Harry Crumb with Jean Candy. But I was able to get the other three in my hands. They include Last Action Hero, Krull, and Hardbodies, which I was wondering if this would show up in stores. It seemed to be the last one to arrive in Walmart stores. So I guess I should say first and foremost, as of the moment, these are Walmart exclusives, but they are going live wide in January 15th of 2019. They will be available everywhere. Amazon, their pre-order link's already up at Amazon. But since I have the whole wave, I want to talk about them. I have some notes here, and people, you guys have reached out. You're into the retro VHS slipcover. Some of you have very harsh feelings about the retro VHS slipcover, so I want to talk about that. I said some things in the last Mill Creek video about retro VHS slipcovers that I would like to revisit and maybe elaborate a little bit further. But having said that, these are the six that we have now. There's good news because there's 4 more coming in February of 2019. More on that in a bit. But I just want to, just kind of give an overview about these. So we'll start with the ones that we already talked about. So Happy Birthday to Me, Silent Rage, and Who's Harry Crumb. All of these, as far as I know, so Mill Creek had put out a Blu-ray of this. It was a double feature Blu-ray of Happy Birthday to Me. So this is the first time it's getting its own single disc version. Same with Silent Rage. This was part of a multi-pack. First time it's getting its own single version. I don't think this had ever been released before on Blu-ray. Last Action Hero had a studio release, 2010, I think it was, maybe 2009, and Mill Creek previously released Last Action Hero in 2014. More on that in a minute. Krull never had a Blu-ray release in the States, as far as I know. Hardbodies, same situation. So Mill Creek has really done us all a favor, or, genre movie fans a favor, by putting these out in the first place, because these are in a lot of instances the first time, I think with the exception of Last Action Hero, this is the first time that any of these have gotten a single disc Blu-ray release where they're not sharing disc space with something else. But having said that, I want to point out that all of these are also really solid quality, maybe with the exception of Last Action Hero, which still is not bad. This is the Last Action Hero. I have this, I bought this when it came out in 2014 as well, and I was happy just to have it. Last Action Hero was one of those movies that there was a widescreen DVD that came out and then quickly disappeared. I guess it went out of print, and all that was available after that was this full-frame pan and scan version. Pan and scan is straight from the devil. It is Del Diablo. So when it finally came out on a Blu-ray, I snatched it up, and the Mill Creek version of that Blu-ray it's really solid, but it's an older one. So this is, like I said, it's from 2014. So I will say I have the bit rates written down here. The Last Action Hero bit rate on the studio release, I guess was the Columbia Pictures release, was 27 megabytes per second. The Mill Creek version is 19.53 megabytes per second. So it's a little reduced quality compared to the original studio version of that release, but everything else here benefits from, they look great is what I'm saying. And I feel like this, it's only 19 megabytes per second because it's an older master, and I don't expect Mill Creek to like reauthor brand new masters for these things, so new encodes when they've got these discs just sitting there. But I would like to say, to give you the details on these, I have notes here. So Hardbodies is the winner at 32 megabytes per second. So you can see all that 80s bikini debauchery in beautiful 32 megabytes per second. Krull, the next one, is 20 megabytes per second, which is solid. Last Action Hero we talked about. Let's see. Silent Rage is a whopping 29 megabytes per second. So this is Super good. This is, I feel comfortable saying this is probably the best that Silent Rage has ever looked. Fantastic movie, super sweet Chuck Norris, almost a horror movie. If you're into Chuck Norris, if you're into horror, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably into both. This one's pretty freaking sweet. Who's Harry Crumb is 30 megabytes per second, so another excellent encode. And Happy Birthday to Me is 25. So the only one that's under 20 is Last Action Hero. And I think that's because that's from 2014. And I should also point out that, you know, the VHS art itself is not, like, it's just a slipcover. So the original, if you're into the clean art, you just buy these and you, like, toss this in the garbage, or you know, whatever you would do with a slipcase. I hear about people throwing slipcases away, slipcovers, and that's so upsetting to me. Like, it came with your movie. If you don't like it, at least, like, give it away or sell it or something like that. Why throw it away? But, you know, to each their own. So I'll just show you briefly. So Last Action Hero, there's the Blu-ray cover art. Happy Birthday to Me has this alternate cover art. Can't get it back in the slipcase. Who's Harry Crumb? Very similar, but you know, more modern. You can see this definitely looks like it's been sitting on a VHS store shelf for a couple of decades. Silent Rage. There's the new Silent Rage cover. Krull. Very similar, just cleaner. And last but not least, Hardbodies. So here's one side of the spine. Okay, so it looks like the VHS would have been lined up on the store shelves like this. And then I love this. Here's the other side. So like a stack of tapes. When they would put the label on the tapes, they look like VHSs. I love that. I think these are so cool. One of the conversations that broke out in the comments section of the Mill Creek video that I did, where I first picked up the three of them that I had bought, was I'm bothered by certain companies, not Mill Creek, because I really love these. Certain companies trying to cash in on the VHS retro craze that seems to be happening right now, with like retro VHSs of Kong Skull Island and Tarzan and things like that. And somebody was like, well, it's just a thing. It's just a retro thing. They're just paying homage to this thing. But I would like to formally argue against that and tell you why. Those are companies trying to cash in on a movement without actually having any nostalgic connection to those movies. For instance, that's a confusing statement, but let me explain. These slipcases, with just a few exceptions, these are the original VHS boxes. For those of us who are older, for those of us who are in our 30s or our 40s or our 50s, these are how these movies looked when we saw them the first time, for the most part. Who's Harry Crumb? This is the VHS cover for Harry Crumb. That's the spine of Harry Crumb. Silent Rage. This is a little bit different. I haven't been able to quite locate this exact VHS cover. It's close, but they've taken, it looks like they've almost composited two separate editions of VHS covers. But like Hardbodies, this is the Hardbodies VHS cover. Krull, this is the Krull VHS cover. These are faithful recreations of how these movies looked on VHS. They're not an homage. They're not like it's a VHS style homage. It's a recreation. So for companies to try to squeeze Tarzan or Kong Skull Island into that feels disingenuous to me for some reason. But I understand it. I'm softening on it. The more we talk about it, the more I'm kind of softening on it. But this is purity right here, you guys. This and a few other ones that, from other companies, there are some really good ones out there. But for my money, I really actually do think Mill Creek has done it the best, because these are actual recreations of actual VHS tapes, and they have like the VHS hanging out of them. I just love them. I think they're so cool. I think they're super cool. So there's 4 more coming. Like I said, these are all in Walmart right now. There's a limited distribution deal with Walmart for these. So they're all there. They're all under $10. I think they range, they're about $7.50 for most of them, which is a great price for a Blu-ray already. But then to get these limited edition slipcovers, I think $7.50 is very fair. But January 15th, 2019, they go wide. Amazon, that sort of thing. And they have announced 4 more. There's going to be retro VHS slipcovers of Songwriter with Kristofferson and Willie Nelson, which I'm like day one on. I'm day one on all of these, but I love Kristofferson. He's such an underrated performer, actor, songwriter. Me and Bobby McGee. He wrote Me and Bobby McGee, that Janis Joplin song. He wrote that. He wrote songs for Johnny Cash. Like, Kristofferson is the man. Vigilante Force. Track that movie down if you guys want to be convinced about the awesomeness of Kristofferson. Don't watch A Star Is Born. Watch Vigilante Force. Sheena. Now, Mill Creek has Sheena. They have the rights to Sheena. They've put out a Sheena box set. I should have pulled it. I should have planned ahead for this. I will have it when we talk about those slipcases, because I will do a video about those as well. But they have Sheena, and they've released a pack. It's a DVD, and it's got Sheena, the movie, with Tanya Roberts, classic 80s movie, and as well as the Sheena syndicated series. I guess it was the late 90s, maybe even the early 2000s. Gina Lee Nolan, I think was her name. The Baywatch girl. I believe she was on Baywatch. We're not talking about the details of the Sheena syndicated series, but my point is that has only been released on DVD. We're finally getting a Blu-ray courtesy of Mill Creek in the slipcase edition set. Neighbors and The Legend of Billie Jean, which is already on Blu-ray, but it's just getting a retro VHS slipcover. So those 4 are coming in February, and we'll be back to talk about those in February. But that's really about all that there is to say about these. They are super cool, they're very affordable, and they are, in most cases, with a few exceptions, the best these movies have ever looked on home video. I guess there's an argument about, well, they looked better on a film print projected on a 35 millimeter, on a big screen. Maybe so. But home video, home media, these are by far the best that these movies have ever looked. So, original aspect ratios for every single one of these. 1.78 widescreen, 2.4 widescreen, 1.85 widescreen, 1.85 widescreen, 1.85, and 2.4. So they're not cropped. Mill Creek does not crop their releases anymore. That was a thing that happened on those public domain collections. These are all legitimate releases, and so these are pristine presentations. When I champion Mill Creek, when I make these videos about Mill Creek, people sometimes comment and they'll be like, you really love Mill Creek. Yeah, I do, because these are awesome. With all that being said, I want to thank you for watching this video. Encourage you to get out there and look for some of this cool stuff. There's some more Mill Creek stuff that I'm going to be talking about soon. Those shadow box collections that we've talked about before? I picked up another one, and it is incredible. But that's a story for another time. Guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for hanging out, talking some Mill Creek. Live stream coming up as of this recording. There's a live stream coming up in just a few days. I would also encourage you, we are headed to 10,000 subscribers. I want to encourage you, if you haven't liked, thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, please do so. I want to be at 10,000 subscribers by February for the 2-year anniversary of this channel. It is going to be massive. I have a box of giveaways that I have, things that are coming in, things that I have designated, earmarked as giveaways. I mean, seriously, it's a box of stuff to give away. So guys, thank you again. I appreciate you, and I will catch you later.